I mean, all I'm trying to say is, why would you put it there if you didn't want me to touch it? Put it away. Put it away. Oh God, we're live. Okay.
Mommy, I'm hungry. I feel have you seen that? Like, it's like a little vine of that little chihuahua. It's like the meme. It's like me, like my sister wide awake in the morning and me waking up, and it's the one with the like little chihuahua comes out from the car window. It's like that's how I feel. I set my alarm for I forgot I had an alarm for 9:15 that I just set however long ago, and it went off, and I looked. I was like, oh shit, because we just bought blackout curtains a couple weeks ago, and they work. I thought it was like 7 this morning. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-show where I'm super fucking exhausted.
Welcome to the third.
Nate, can I give you a bit of a compliment and an insult at the same time?
Absolutely.
There is zero difference between you rolling out of bed 5 minutes ago and you being up for 5 hours in terms of your looks.
That's because when I wake. Well, I mean, I did do a little bit of prep because when I wake up with the beard as long as it is, most of the time it's like squished to one side. So I did like comb it. But
I've been up for 3 hours.
But because I put product in my hair, like when I get out of the shower, like my hair holds. So that's why. But
I just got to make sure if I don't look to the right, then I think we're fine. We don't have to see that.
You got your wings.
Back. Yeah, my little
spoiler.
Yeah. Because this just kind of looks like maybe I styled it or something, just like that.
I love it. There it is again for the video. The vape intake. Just in the middle. It reminds me of the Kermit.
I'm glad somebody likes it because I think it's fucking annoying as hell.
I got strawberry.
So pre-show content is what we're doing now.
Pre-show content.
Nom. Oh!
Oh boy!
So good content.
Pre-show content.
Nick, did you watch the episode of Superstore from Thursday? The new episode?
I haven't. I haven't watched the Thursday episode. Please don't.
You think?
Please
please don't.
It keeps going. Like in terms of just the show hasn't stopped yet.
That show is amazing.
Oh yeah, this is. I was like, I had to remember for a second, but yeah, this is the one where Garrett and what's the girl's name? I'm so terrible with Cheyenne. Garrett and Cheyenne, they put their phones up. So she ends up like scrolling through a block of cheese.
This is the most. This isn't a spoiler. This is the most relatable like episode of a character I've had a long time. So like my wife calls me the walking IMDb. Like if we're in public and we're with friends and they're like, who's that? I'm like. Right off the bat. So there's a part in particular where Garrett's like, Cheyenne, it's going to be okay. If I can make it through the Hitman's Bodyguard, I can make it through this last couple hours. She's like, Hitman's Bodyguard? And he's like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, and the guy he's the British guy. He's in everything. You know him. She's like, no. He's like, all right, hold on. And goes to reach for his phone, and he goes, oh, this is going to be bad. And I'm like, I relate to that so much because we'll talk about, wait, who's that? And I'll just pull up my phone, IMDb. Oh, it's that. And so it's running gag throughout the episode. And like after like the third time he does it, I'm like, fuck, who is that? And so I had to look it up myself. And then whenever I looked it up and got it, is when he figured it out. I was like, oh, okay.
Are you guys caught up on 911?
No, I haven't watched the new season yet.
What the fuck? God.
We've been binging Game of Thrones.
So good.
I want to talk about it so bad.
Well, let me tell you my frustration. My frustration is so the promos leading up to it shows Chimney getting stabbed. You know what I mean?
I don't.
The promos?
Go ahead.
Huh? What?
I haven't watched promos either, but I mean,
okay. Well,
you're fine.
Yeah, it's fine if you would watch the promos. God damn it! It shows Chimney getting stabbed. So I literally had to turn to my wife and go, wait, is that how the mid-season finale ended?
No, it was a Christmas episode.
Yeah, I was like, I think so. And so, no, then the first episode back, that's what happens at the end of it. I mean, sorry, spoilers, Nate, but that's what happens at the end of it. It's in the fucking promos. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I never saw the promos. So I guess.
Yeah, we're about to watch. We're probably about to start since we're done with Game of Thrones. We're gonna probably start Santa Clarita, season 3 of Santa Clarita.
Yeah, my wife's been watching that.
Oh, I love Santa Clarita Diet. It's so good.
Not my cup of tea, but Drew Barrymore is amazing.
Yeah, so I've already gotten through the 3rd season. Pretty good. Where they leave it is really good. I feel like where they left it this season was better when they left it the 2nd season. Because the 2nd season, when they left it, it was like, I don't know, it was way too...
It was definitely like very open, like, oh, you guys can go a lot of different places with this.
Yeah, whereas this, I mean, it's still interesting where it's going to be going, but at the same time, like I just feel like this is a much better like cliffhanger, because you're like, okay, because something like really, really weird happens at the very end, and you're just like, so where's that gonna go? And so it really, where like season 2, like I said, it didn't have that good hook at the very end. It was still like, well, of course I'm gonna watch season 3, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait to season 3. Whereas now it's like, I can't wait. I want to see what the hell just happened. Like, oh my god. All I can say is that it involves Mr. Ball Legs. That's all I can say, and it's not a huge spoiler just by saying that. But yeah, that's all, it involves that, and I'm like, okay, interesting. So yeah, I like that show, because as tropey as zombie flicks have gotten, it was really interesting to them to take that similar aspect, but now they're undead, but they're not undead, but they're not zombies, and they're not vampires, but they are zombies because they eat people, like it's a really interesting take. And if it would have just been she's a zombie, I feel like it wouldn't have as much intrigue, but since there is that kind of mystery, like, okay, what's all this about, since it happened.
That's a Netflix original, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I love Timothy Olyphant. Timothy Olyphant's fucking great.
That's the guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulls off I mean, the jittery and like just like, oh my god, and just sometimes just him just going, what the fuck, is just so fucking hilarious. Because
Timothy Olyphant and I don't remember the other actor's name. Josh Duhamel are two actors, or those combo of actors. I'm like, oh, I kind of get you confused from time to time because they
say that again.
Yeah,
Josh Duhamel and Timothy Olyphant.
Who's that?
Josh Duhamel. I'll show you a picture. He's you remember the first Transformers?
Oh yeah,
he's the main guy.
Yes, you could. Yeah, see that guy. I see what you mean. Yeah, those two can definitely get mixed up very easily. They need to do an action movie where they play brothers, and like nobody would even bat an eye.
Yeah, that would have done better than probably. Now, see, here's the thing: I love Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, but I don't see the similarity. I don't see the visual similarities between Adam Devine and Zac Efron. I mean, maybe kind of. Like,
I kind of bought that actually.
Yeah, I do too. But like Josh Duhamel and Timothy Olyphant in particular, I'm like, oh, you guys look very similar.
It's Adam Devine, like
from the guy from Workaholics. Did you ever watch Workaholics?
Okay, yeah, okay,
yeah.
So they're saying that him and Zac Efron are the same guy?
No. And they're brothers in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. It's a great movie.
To be honest, though, like in the face,
see it.
I can kind of see it. Yeah,
like if he was a chubby or Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the shorter. Yeah.
You're just being too harsh. Get off your high horse. Stop.
I've got a question for you guys.
I got the horses in the bag.
Band. Okay. Do you think the Netflix price raise is fair? Or
I mean, it's whatever. I mean,
I'm being honest. I didn't even know.
I mean, I'm on the higher tier just because we had several people that were watching with us. No, they weren't. I'm lying. But also, since I have 4K TV, I wanted the 4K content. So I'm on the higher tier. So in a way, it sucks, but it's also one of those that what's your price point? When I upped it, it was like 15. So it's probably at like 17 now.
Yeah, it's at 16 for base right now.
But for me,
wait, really?
$15.99.
The way I look at it is, if they're upping it makes business sense to me. If they're upping their cost while they're upping their production quality and their content, I can see it, because you're basically pushing the dollar difference onto the customer.
Although when you hear about how they're in the hole by millions of dollars or whatever, it's because they do put so much money into their projects, but they're not getting enough back, which is weird,
But on the other end, like Hulu we're about to cancel because
Hulu comes with Spotify. But that's how we kept it.
See, here's the thing: is my wife watches that show Jane the Virgin, and the most recent season was supposed to go on Hulu. They all have. Well, for some reason, I don't know how many other shows are doing this now. The only way she can watch Jane the Virgin is if she subs to Hulu Live TV, which we already have DirecTV Now, which costs the same, but DirecTV Now gets you honestly more content. So now, in order for her to watch Jane the Virgin, she's going to go to DirecTV, but on Hulu, she can only watch it on their live TV service. So it makes me wonder how many other shows they're moving over to that. Because
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Is Hulu Live, is that kind of like PS View?
Yes,
but Hulu Live is Hulu Live is $39 a month. And so is DirecTV Now. DirecTV Now, I think we pay like $41 a month for it.
Do you get any like movie channels, or is that
so with DirecTV Now we have some HBO.
Right. Go put some clothes on. Go put clothes on.
We have some HBO channels. But I mean, we have a lot of the channels that we would watch that we only pay $40 a month for. But I don't know what all Hulu's doing now. So it's one of those that, like, the only one I want to watch right now is The Act, like Hulu's new original. And then after that, we just have no use for it.
That one looks super messed up.
Yeah.
Like the problem with those type of shows and even movies for that matter, the problem with those type of shows or whatever is, like, I don't know, like, I don't. Another really good example other than The Act is, what's the one on Netflix where the guy's like stalking the girl? Thank you. Anyways,
unfortunate.
That one and The Act, like, they look really good and they look like they're very well acted and they have some really good names behind them and everything, but it's just like, that just looks super depressing. And I don't know, like, I don't know if it's a point in my life or it's a point in like my mental health where it's just like, when I go to TV, I want to escape. And even if I watch like an action or something, I like it to be funny in certain places, or if I watch a show, it's like, it's got to be interesting. But I don't watch a show just because it's insanely depressive or insanely like drama heavy. Like, I really don't like drama heavy movies and shows because it's just like, I can't handle that. Like I don't know. Well, I'll get into it more in the show or whatever, but like Joaquin Phoenix is an actor that I actually avoid because most of the stuff that he's in is super heavy and super like deep. Any of his stuff that he's been in, anything has been extremely, and he's a very good actor. I'm, obviously very willing to admit that, but I almost exclusively avoid his kind of stuff just because it's like, I'm good. Like, I don't feel like being depressed, or I don't feel like having this big heavy drama. Cause like when you watch a real heavy drama, sometimes you feel it in your soul, and that's not exactly what I go for a viewing experience. Same thing with like games. Although a game's like, you feel that way and you're able to interact with them. So it's like, it's different. But also like, I guess a good example for a game would be Gone Home. Gone Home was a really, really good game. But I wouldn't go out and seek out those kinds of games. Like What Remains of Edith Finch, I've heard so many good things about it, how it's like kind of like Gone Home, but like different vignettes and stuff. And I'm super like interested in it, but I'm not going to go, okay, here's $20 or $30, however much it is, and I'm going to go and experience it. Like that's not necessarily like what I like to do. If I'm going to spend money on it, or if I'm going to invest in it, whether it be time or money. It's like I really want to make sure it's something I'm going to enjoy and like think about. And not that I want it. I don't know. I guess it may be a little harder to explain than I thought.
Good talk.
All right. Good pre-show. Let's get this shit started. Let's get it started.
Ah.
Let's get it started in here. Where am I going? I'm going to Audacity. You trying to do that muscle thing?
No, I'm just stretching. I really want to get another tattoo.
My basic running.
I cannot wait until the Master Chief Collection comes to PC so I can play fucking Halo Reach again. Oh, I'm so excited. Because I don't have an Xbox.
You're reaching for that PC.
Oh my god, dude! Whenever so Master Chief Collection is a phenomenal fucking game. Everyone was like, when ODST came out, they're like, "Oh, we wish Reach would come out." I'm like, that'd be great because Reach is the Halo game that I spent the most time in multiplayer and in the campaign alone. And so whenever they did the announcement that the collection was coming to PC, they're like, "Oh, also Halo Reaches." I was like, "Oh my god, this is like the best news ever."
So real quick. Do you remember how we did that delay? Oh yeah, editing preferences.
Well, I said just try putting your latency at minus 130 because that's what mine's at.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Preferences. So even though he got this new computer, whenever I was editing Hubcast, there still was the delay there, and we couldn't figure out why. And so he looked up a video about latency on Audacity, and this is real country fucking guy doing it, but he's trying to adjust his latency to match mine to see if that'll help.
What are my picks of the week?
I got mine.
Jeez.
Remind me again, picks of the week can be like anything.
Yeah, pretty much anything.
Songs, videos, TV, movies.
Feelings. I pick love for this week's pick of the week. Just choose love. Oh my god. So do you remember Evolution with the guy from X-Files? And
are you talking about the comedy one that had the smiley face? Yes,
Orlando Jones or whatever. I watched that just yesterday, and man, we live in some different times.
Oh, I forgot that had Sean William Scott in it. Oh yeah, no, same thing. I watched American Pie 2 like 2 nights ago, and I've seen that movie like 30 times, but I was like, man, this is a fucking classic.
Well, no, so just like one of the running gags in the movie is that Orlando Jones, the black guy, is a volleyball coach, a women's volleyball coach. So several times he brings it up, and he brings it up in a very sexual manner, And then there's even one time where like Sean William Scott was like, "Wait, so you get to see them in the shower?" He's like, "Yeah, sometimes I join them." And like, I don't know if he was saying it as a joke, like his character was saying it as a joke, but I'm like, I don't know, like, it's just so funny to see that because it's like I feel like not only that, but then if you think about it, like here's a movie with 3 main male leads, and then Julianne Moore is a very side character who literally just jumps his bone at the first chance he gets, kind of at the end or whatever. And I'm like, this is weird. This is really weird because it's just not the type of movie you'd be able to make. Well, you could make any movie you want, obviously, but you'd have somebody just whining and bitching or whatever. So it's just so weird. That's why when somebody brings up like an old controversy or something old somebody said like 10 years ago, it's like, dude, even just like 5 years ago, it was a different era. you know, and so to judge somebody on that, like if it's rape, obviously that's super easy. Yeah, you're a fucking monster and you need to, you know, be put away or whatever. But it's like you said something, well, that means we need to like investigate you and like all this weird bullshit. It's like, okay, whatever, guys. Goddamn. I forgot what I was doing. What was I doing, guys? Why did you let me get so distracted?
You were doing your latency.
No, I already did that. So
You were starting the show so we can get rolling.
No.
Damn
Never
it.
started. Never. I don't really have a pick of the week. All right. I guess I'll do Conan Exiles. I've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, you have.
It'll just give me a chance to kind of talk about it a little bit, I guess. Alrighty. Audacity. Hold on. Let me figure out what the hell my girl's doing. Who's out there? You shutting my door? Thank you, girlie. All right. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Why the fuck is Muffin marking?
Did you say what the fuck is muffin marking?
That's what I heard.
That's exactly what I said.
I can't tell if that's sarcasm or truth, and now I'm really confused and interested.
Well, my dog, she's barking, and I can't understand why. And now we have a cat meowing. Now we just need a bird tweeting in the background, and we're great. Okay, I think she's done.
That's what she says.
Yeah. All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Like an hour ago. Jeez. All right. Recording on 1, 2, 3. 1,
2,
3.
Okie dokie. Hello and welcome to Nerd to the Third.
Okay, we're not gonna do that because that was fucking painful last time.
Unfortunate.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Nerd to the Third, your stop for video games, movies, and nerd culture. Today we're bringing you the Power of Three with your host, Nick, Nate, and the ever-rotating third chair, Link.
What's up, I'm Nate.
And I am Link.
Okay. Can we really mark this? Because can we really stop doing that, guys? Like when you go at a huge pause, it's like legitimately frustrating for me because it's like I don't know if it's because like you guys didn't hear me, if I cut out or something. So like let's make that.
Okay.
What do you want?
From now on, our guest, which is always going to be the third chair, should always talk first because he's the ever rotating third chair. You should be like, "Hey, I'm Link" or whatever, and it's like, and it's Nick or whatever, or it's Nate or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, obviously, but it's like sometimes it just really gets to me because it's like, come on, guys, like,
I gotcha.
I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying to get the show moving.
Do you want to do it again?
Yeah, just start with Link saying hello.
Okay.
What's up? That's me, Link.
And I'm Nate, as always.
Alrighty. And so, quick grinding before we get started. You can go to our Twitter at TX3 Productions on Twitter. If you like Apex, we have an Apex Legends Hubcast, your central cast for everything Apex. And you can find us at Apex Legends Cast on Twitter. If you like what we're doing here and you'd like to support us, you can also go to Patreon/ThreadX3 Productions. And we'd like to give a shout out to our main men, Adam, aka I'm not gay, I'm Kevin, Danny's, and Mavcop. Thank you guys for being Patreons. You guys are freaking awesome. So let's jump right into the headlines of the week.
Just ignore him, everybody. Just ignore him. He's a whiny boy.
Hello.
I might have to mute you until you start talking.
So the problem, well, I can do that because I can manually mute. But the problem is if I bring him in, he'll want to sit in my lap, and all you will hear is. So what's worse?
The meowing, honestly. Because it's so piercing. You know
I'll just mute myself until I talk.
The would be at least constant, and it'd be very small. But meow, it's just all out of nowhere, just pow.
Yeah.
It's piercing my soul. All right, so our headlines of the week. I got two major ones that I want to talk about. Let's start with the Joker trailer. What was your guys' thoughts on this? First off, Link, what did you think about the Joker trailer?
I didn't really differ in my opinion on the movie based on the trailer at all this go around. I was ready for the Joker movie already. I think it was a good taste in my mouth, but it didn't really alter my thoughts at all, if you will.
Okay. So, I mean, what do you like, or what makes you want to see it?
Just the general fan in me, if I'm being honest. Okay. I don't like to judge a movie by its trailers. I've had bad experiences in the past, especially with superhero-based movies doing that. So I was genuinely excited whenever this got announced, and I'm going to continue to be excited despite what the trailers are. Okay. But I do like the overall scenery that they seem to put on during the trailer. I will give them that.
Okay. And Nate, what's your thoughts on it so far? What is your thoughts of Joaquin Phoenix?
So it's one of those.
It's so loud.
See, that's what I'm telling you.
Well, that time she put her mouth up to the microphone, so it wasn't
Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on. We got to let him do his thing. Come on, buddy. Come here.
Hey, you got to control your pussy. Do you have a bed for him? You should get
I have a chair right here. He wants to be in my lap. Ever since he was a baby, anytime I'm at my desk, he wants to be in my lap. Are you having fun, buddy? Are you having fun? Come on. Come here. Come on. See, this is normally a 5.
I just wasn't expecting it to be that loud as soon as he turned on the mic.
Yeah, see, this is my life. This is my life.
Oh, that's sad.
Is it still loud?
No, I can't even hear it personally.
Okay. All right. So let me mark. So for me, whenever he was announced that he was playing the Joker, I was excited because I know Joaquin Phoenix's.
Bless you.
I know. So I was waiting for it. I know his catalog. I know his portfolio. Yeah. He has proven himself to be a fantastic actor, and he's a fantastic method actor. So that is what excites me about someone coming onto the Joker, someone who's a method actor like that. Jared Leto, people have a lot of complaints about. I like Jared Leto as an actor, so his performance didn't bother me as much as it did other people. But I was excited from this from the beginning. I wasn't like, oh, why are they doing this? And then the trailer itself, it kind of proved that even more. The trailer is so chilling and so creepy. And it really, really, really makes me even more excited for the movie just to see what they're going to do. Because we've never seen a true to form Joker origin story on film like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's one thing I can always love about this show is that, we can have completely different opinions or whatever, because both of you guys are excited. Whereas me, I could give 2 fucks. I really couldn't, because it does absolutely nothing for me. I'm not excited for it. I don't really even care that it exists. And the trailer then came along, and nothing stood out to me as, okay, this is why I'm seeing it, you know? And I mean, I'll be honest, I think maybe part of that is that I don't have like this personal connection with like the Joker and his backstory. I feel like, and this is just me, I feel like the Joker is one of those perfect characters where you don't need a backstory. And in fact, sometimes the backstory can kind of muddle things in the future. The other thing that for me is personally, like, I guess just confusing is, where does this stand? This is a standalone. It's not a part of any of the universes, I think.
It's not. It's a complete by itself thing.
Yeah, they've basically gotten rid of the DCEU, and yet here's this standalone character for the biggest character in the DC universe, and you're telling me that this isn't connected to anything? Like, that's a problem. You know, that's like having Venom and then there's no mention of Spider-Man. Like, as much as Venom was just like a fun ride or whatever, and it had its problems or whatever, but that was the biggest flaw, is just not having it connected to what Venom really was all about in the first place. You know, granted, he had his own run of comic books and everything, and that's fine, but Venom was in Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. And so then, yeah, we have Joker here, which is the most famous and probably one of the most iconic bad guys of all time. So him getting his own origin story, okay, that's great. But then I guess, where do we go from here? Do we then have another Joker story? Do we then have Joaquin Phoenix go and star in the next Batman movie? You know, like, that's what's so confusing. So, like, I guess as a fan, I don't want to get too emotionally attached to this character, because it's like, you know, as a one-off, like, who cares? You know, granted, all the other ones have been one-offs, obviously, as well, but they've still been a part of this bigger universe. Without it being a part of this bigger universe of the DC universe, just why am I supposed to care about this? You know?
So I have a thought, Link. If you want to go ahead, feel free, because I have something I'll say about this. So,
as a counterpoint to the why would I care stance that you're taking, Nick, I think I would say I'd rather this than another Batman origin story, right? And so it gives me some interest in that point, because if they came out and said, hey, we went out, we got Joaquin Phoenix, he's going to play a minor role in the new Batman origin story, I'd be upset. I'd be kind of furious, because at that point you're just shoving stuff that we've already seen. We haven't seen a major movie going into the origin story of Joker, which I think is one of the more interesting ones, actually, because it really shows just how messed up the world of Gotham is, or the city of Gotham, I should say. And so if you're familiar with what already exists in the comic books of the origin story of Joker, if they do this right, it almost makes you feel and side with the Joker, which is something special to do with a character like that. So I'm excited to see it just for that reason, to see the storytelling and the cinematics to make you feel for the Joker. Because if you take a character, like you said, who's probably the most prominent villain in the entire DC universe, and take him and make you like him, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I mean, see, I get that. Like, I don't want people to think I'm just like stupid, and like, when I say I don't get it, it's like I get it. It's just that it's not really doing anything for me. Like, I don't know. That's not a big enough reason for them to even have it exist, in my opinion. It's like, okay, yeah, it would be super great, but yeah, I guess it's just like I was saying before, the Venom and Spider-Man. Like, what is Joker without Batman? It would be really cool, I'll admit. It would be really cool if they could somehow, like, only if it fit naturally, obviously, but if they could somehow make this also sort of the origin of whoever the next Batman's going to be. So instead of having another another, slow motion Martha scene or whatever. Instead of having that, if this could somehow like retcon, for fuck's sake, if this could somehow like retcon a new origin story of Batman, and so we don't have to go through the origin story of the original Batman again, and instead we can kind of do Spider-Man Homecoming, where we're in the middle of the story. He's already been Spider-Man for a while, and go. Like if we could do something, or Black Panther is another good example, where he was kind of like already Black Panther and in Civil War, and we didn't really need an origin story. If we could do that for the next Batman, because we have this movie, I feel like that will give enough credence to this movie for existing.
That's fair. I agree with that.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit, because mine's multifaceted. So as far as why this exists, I think that this is DC's their media side, their first entry in their new approach to their films. I think they and all of us saw the disaster that was the DCEU and what they tried to force, and how it didn't obviously return back what they put into it.
Right.
So I think that
if I could go real fast there, I think the thing that's really jarring about that, and I also want to think about the regular people who don't read the comics. Why that's so jarring is because it's so soon. Like, they are extremely reactive to Justice League. Aquaman, aside from one throwaway line, could be seen as its own movie. And this is now a part of, but even before, like even during Justice League and Suicide Squad both kind of crapping, they announced the Joker thing. So that was like months before they really knew that it crapped the bed, so to speak. So that's a little confusing.
Right. I can get that. So I think that following the Joker, I think it really just depends on how it's going to do. I think we'll either see a new skew of like standalone storytelling movies that they want to do, or maybe they'll slowly enroll him into a new kind of universe. Now, this is the part where we put on our tinfoil hats. So there is a theory, and pretty much everyone thinks the same thing, that in the Joker trailer, that the scene whenever he's in front of the fence, like forcing that smile on that little kid's face, that's Bruce Wayne.
I hate when people do this. I mean, like, I get the intrigue of doing that, but it's like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, if that is Bruce Wayne, how is he so young? And the Joker would be super old by the time he comes old enough to fight him. So that, to me, doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, there's a lot of different permutations of the Joker in the comics, and some kind of indicate that he is younger, and some indicate that he's younger. Some indicate that Batman and the Joker, as they were advancing in their respective lives, were of similar age, and then some you really don't know. Like, for prime example, I have no idea how old the Joker is in the Arkham series. In the video game series, like, he seems like he could be super old. It's one of those you don't really,
that one for sure.
You don't really know. But so tinfoil hat time. I think that this is either a standalone movie that they're saying it is. They could, and this goes back to the retcon thing. They could retcon, because a lot of people leading up to Suicide Squad had a theory that the Joker we're seeing in Suicide Squad was actually
Jared Todd or.
Jason Todd was actually Jason Todd, because in other storylines, the Joker made Jason Todd into a mini Joker. So
he beat out his mouth too, so he had no teeth left. So the metal teeth, yeah, exactly.
So I think that this could be either a completely standalone movie, or it could be, oh no, guys, this is the actual Joker in this universe. And they could now that one might be a little heavy-handed, but one thing that I would like to see coming from this is, we know they're doing another Batman movie. So this is a little different. You don't want another origin story. I don't either. What I would like to see live action is I would like to see a year one Batman. Year one Batman in the comics is kind of one of my favorite runs, because you're watching Batman grow. Like you're not like in Batman Begins. Batman Begins was very fast, of course, because it's a 2-hour movie. But year one Batman, he's like in the comics, he's wearing the purple gloves, like from the original story. Like this is his proto. Hey, I'm just getting out there as Batman. I was trained by Ra's al Ghul, and I'm Batman. It's Ra's or Ra's. Like because I've played so much of the Arkham series, Ra's is what they say all the time.
Really, they say that?
Yeah. Ra's, it's either Roz or Ra's. Yeah.
I remember.
And a lot of the media, they do it. But so I think if this is going to be a standalone, I think it'll be an interesting experience. If this is going to be a part of a universe, I would love to see year one Batman follow this.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense since they want a younger Batman. They're already, trying to get a younger Batman, whether it be like that, one of the Hemsworth brothers, I think, was one that they were looking for. So, I mean, that could be interesting. And so maybe, like I was saying, maybe they could do the retcon or something. It would be interesting to see Batman year one. But I mean, I don't know. I mean,
so go ahead.
I guess it's hard for me. And I mean, I can't be the only one out there. So you guys let me know in our Discord or whatever. But I can't be the only one out there that, like, if I find it hard to see this as its own movie because it's a part of this big, huge universe. And so, I mean, I feel like the same thing happened when people went to go see Venom, and I have to keep comparing it to that because Venom was a part of Spider-Man. And so a lot of people were confused or whatever. And so maybe they judged it more harsh because they just didn't understand where this sat in the universe. And so for me, when I watch this movie, it's going to be really hard for me to not judge it a certain way, especially in the trailer when they show the hospital that he blew up in The Dark Knight. So it's like they show that they're clearly referencing that. Is it a part of that universe? Is it a part of another universe? Like, what the hell?
Well, to be fair, Joker in The Dark Knight didn't blow up the Arkham Hospital. He blew up just at Mercy General or whatever. He blew up a general hospital. He didn't blow up Arkham.
Well,
they make throwaway lines to Arkham in the Nolan verse, but they never really show Arkham.
Well, no, I'm saying they showed the same hospital in the trailer.
You talking about the one when he's walking up to it?
Yeah.
That was Arkham General Hospital. That's their Arkham Asylum General Hospital.
But it looks exactly like the one he blew up. So
honestly, on that one, I feel like that one is a little bit of a stretch. I don't think people are going to be as confused about that one in particular. Maybe you're like, also just because The Dark Knight came out 11 years ago. So I feel like with people who constantly forget things, that's not one that's going to stick out in their head. I see where you're coming from.
I feel like it is, though, because that's an iconic scene in the Ledger verse of Joker. Is him doing the whole explosion thing. And it looks exactly the same. It looks like the exact same hospital. But now we have this new version, even if it says something different on the side of it. Well, this is an origin story. So maybe it was a psych house before it was a hospital. Like, either way, that's when I see that shot, you could pause it right there. That's what I think of. And so I can't be the only one. That's what I'm saying, is that when people are combing through these things and they're like, oh, that looks like the thing they blew up. Like, I can't be the only one who's thinking this. And like I said, it's not that I'm not going to enjoy it. It's not that I'm not going to, go see it. I mean, I don't think I'm going to go see it, week one for sure. But I'm just saying that, like, how am I supposed to not judge it under a fine-tooth comb? Because there's so much more to compare it to, which is also another thing. Like, there's already people comparing this to like the Ledger, and like Ledger used to be the best Joker, and now they're talking about like Joaquin Phoenix being the best Joker. And I find that to be BS, because it's like, this is a trailer, guys. Like, I can kind of understand, but it's the volume of people trying to say that he's going to be better than the Ledger Joker. And I'm like, I can't say that yet, because he talks a little bit, but he doesn't talk as the Joker. He talks as
Arthur.
Arthur. He just talks as a normal guy. So for them coming out and, oh my God, this could actually be better. And I'm like, could, yes. But the way you're talking about is like, oh my God, he's going to be the best. No, he's not. Like, he might, I don't know, but
something to relate to with that is the lead up to The Dark Knight. Everyone was pissed that Ledger was going to be cast as Joker. They're like, why are we getting the dude from 10 Things I Hate About You? Like, why are we doing that? Leading into this, they're like, oh, this actor that we've seen, like I said before, who's a fantastic method actor who can really bring a new light to the Joker. I can see where people are saying that. Now, I don't agree with like what I agree with what you're saying. I don't agree with the volume of people who are like, oh, he's going to be the best. It's like, okay, don't speak in absolutes. Wait until you see it. Exactly. But I can see why people would be saying that, because the lead up to this is a lot higher in terms of expectations than it was for Joker.
Right, Ledger Joker better because it was
there's no expectations.
Exactly. You didn't expect it. You thought he was going to suck. And so I feel like that elevates it to a new level, because it's like he turned in a performance you would have never expected, that you never even thought possible. And so yeah, I don't feel, and it has nothing to do with the fact that Heath Ledger's dead. So it's not like I'm like, oh, we should respect the dead. It's like, no, the guy who originally played the Joker, Caesar, he's fucking dead. So I mean, you don't have to respect the dead necessarily. It's just
Now, do I think that Ledger? Do I think that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be up there in terms of the echelon of the Jokers? Yes, I do. Yes. I think I can
agree with that. Yeah,
I think after this movie comes out, he will deserve to be in the same category as Ledger, Nicholson, Caesar. I really, really do. Jared Leto, love Jared Leto to death. His Joker just does not belong in that category. I've said this before in Suicide Squad, I liked the different Joker. I liked their take on him because it was something different we hadn't seen before. But no, if you're lining up these guys in that order, Jared doesn't belong there. I think that Joaquin Phoenix preliminarily could belong up there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Another thing, and this is totally going to be me, and I know you guys are going to totally disagree with me. I'm going to get a ton of hate mail, but for me, like, this trailer looks way too art house for me. Like, and I don't like a lot of art house. Not that I avoid them necessarily, but I don't like art house movies. And on top of that, this is 100% me again, but I also, in a lot of cases, I've actually avoided Joaquin Phoenix's
bless you.
Thank you. Because he is such a good actor. He is such a deep actor. And I'd say, aside from Signs, I'd say like 100% of his movies, or at least recent movies. I mean, I guess he's probably had a couple of stinkers back in the day, but his most recent movies, 100% of them have been super serious, have been super dark, have just been him at his pinnacle. And so for me, like, I don't personally go to a movie to be super depressed or have this really heavy story just laid on top of me. And so then I'm just like the guy from The Crucible. I'm like, more weight, like, that's not what I go to see a movie for. I will go see like a romantic movie or something that has drama in it. But when it gets to the point where it's just drama, so much drama and just heavy drama, there's a huge difference between like a depressing kind of romance, even if the romance, like the guy doesn't get the girl at the end or something. There's something different between that and this just a super, super heavy drama. And I'll say the same thing about like TV shows. Like we were talking about in the post show, The Act on Hulu looks like a great TV series, but I don't think I will ever watch it because it looks way too goddamn depressing. I mean, just the concept of it, of a mother like making her daughter sick or something, that's super deep. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be in the mood. You know what? I just want to feel like killing myself. So let me watch this.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that statement of it looks like an art house film because especially from the trailer, it does look very art house in a sense. Now, what I will give you as a parallel to that is I think the Joker deserves that. I think the Joker deserves to be like that. The way to tell a good Joker story, I think, is that way. Okay. Because the Joker, he's such a complex character that a complex kind of storytelling just matches one for one.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I guess that also goes back to my whole universe complaint. You know, there hasn't been a DC movie that has, and I know that this is supposed to like set a new stage for it or whatever, but still, it's like we're going from Aquaman, which took its insane premise and ran with it, and that's part of the reason it's mediocre. But then you have this, and it's just the complete polar opposite, and in many ways, that might end up being its best feature. But I don't know. It's just hard to tell from this one trailer. You know, like Link, you don't want to judge a movie by its trailer, but it's like, you know, I can't help but be critical of this. I want another trailer. Like this is the one instance where I feel like another trailer might actually do some good. Like, you know, I know both of you are probably fine with just one trailer. It's like, just let it come out or whatever. But me, it's like, I need something to flesh it out a little bit more because he does a little bit of talking, and there's somewhat of a storytelling in the trailer itself, but not enough to make me. I feel like a lot of it was fan service. And so without me being a huge fan about, oh, here he is going on this talk show. Of course, I had to watch a YouTube video for this. Here he is going on to the talk show. So that means we might get, you know, part of the Killing Joke or, you know, something. I don't know. So that's my point, is that here's all these references, here's all these things, these hints or little breadcrumbs that we're getting from like the comic books or whatever. But it's like, I'm not the biggest comic book fan as far as DC is concerned. So it's like, I just don't know that, you know? So as a casual moviegoer, it needs to sell me just as much as anybody else. And so me being the casual DC fan, you're not selling me. And that's obviously the whole point of a trailer, is to sell me.
Wow. I just want to throw in there, you guys are really in depth with trailers. I did not expect this discussion.
I know we're going on minute 20 something
to go this long about a trailer. One thing I will say though, to your point about fan service, to me, that's all a trailer is, right? Because if you gave the premise of the movie, you said who was in the movie, and then said, hey, it comes out in 8 months, go see it. That would be enough for me. But to me, trailers are a bit of just fan service in and of themselves. So I don't mind the quote unquote fan service trailers, if you will, that are aimed at that, just because I feel like that's their whole point to begin with. I will admit though, like all the stuff you brought up between the conspiracies or the thoughts or the 10 hats, as you put it, I hadn't thought of any of that. I had just watched the trailer, closed the YouTube browser, and went on with my day. You guys dove in, so kudos on that, I guess. But
talk about feelings and like how something makes us feel, because
now there is one thing that it's Joker related, but it's kind of not in a way. But there is something that I wanted to bring up, because it's something that I had just learned earlier this week. Talking about Heath Ledger's Joker, Michael J. White, who was Spawn. He was also Gamble in The Dark Knight. He was the mobster. He was on Collider's podcast, and he was talking about Heath Ledger. Or the question was, they were asking him about his what that experience was shooting The Dark Knight, and he was like, "This was one of the best like shoots that I was on." He was like, Nolan was so carefree, and it wasn't like a strict, you know, scenario. But the thing that was important was he brought up Heath Ledger, and they asked about, you know, they were saying obviously there's a lot of conjecture about his death and, you know, things like that. It's like, here's the thing. This is the giant misconception. This is what he was saying. He would flip that switch, and then once they said cut, Heath Ledger would be like, how was that? Was that good? Did you like that? Mm-hmm. And it was like he was having fun the entire time, and he was like just so carefree. Like, it wasn't like people say. And he pointed out, he was like, people also don't realize when he passed away, he was shooting the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Like, he had been completely done shooting the Joker in The Dark Knight when he passed away, when he OD'd.
True.
And so it's one of those that, but whenever that happened, I was like, oh, that makes sense. The Joker's such a dark character, and he took his role so seriously that it took him down a dark path. It writes itself. But the fact of him coming out and be like, look, it just wasn't the case, shed new light on it, was like, oh, okay. Like it made me feel a little bit better in a sense, just because for the longest time, it's one of those, it's easily one of the best roles in cinema I've seen in a long time. But it also was a little tainted by the fact of, oh, this is what caused him to die. But now that that's gone, it's like, oh, I can enjoy it a little bit better.
Which you could before, but yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah. So, Joker trailer. What did you guys think about it? Let us know in the comments down below, or you can go to TX3 Productions or ThreadX3 Productions at gmail.com. Up next, we're talking about, wait, why am I saying it that way? Market. Just a weird way of saying it. Like, damn it, all the fuck shit. Just, come on. Just work with me. Okay. So now let's talk about something on the video game side of stuff, and that is the World War Z. We got a new look at World War Z, and I have to admit that from before, it's like I kind of just looked at this as like, okay, this is another zombie game. Like nothing really stuck out to me as like, oh, I need to play this game. But then there's this new thing. We'll put it in the description down below. But there's this new thing that they put out. It's like 2 minutes, but it's talking about like the game and like the systems or whatever. And one thing that it talks about is the game director. And the moment they said game director, like my ears perked up. Like, admittedly, I was on the pot and I was going to the bathroom and I was just kind of like mindlessly watching stuff, which is what you do, obviously. But the moment they said game director, I'm like, oh, I actually want to watch this. Mm-hmm. So I actually stopped watching it, got done with my whole thing, and then watched it again. But now I like watched it with intent, and it looks interesting. I mean, like, what do you guys think about it? Have you seen it?
Yes. So the game itself intrigues me for one reason only, which is the same thing I look at when it comes to any zombie video game, which is the rails system. It seems to recreate a system in which, similar to Left 4 Dead, you don't feel like there's an easy way out. You have to fight them however they come, and you need to prepare yourself for that.
Right.
That intrigued me. That alone with the graphics, obviously, were top notch in my opinion. Really impressed me in more ways than I thought this game was going to whenever I originally heard about it.
Mm-hmm. And Nate?
So right off the bat, visually, it looks like Division meets Left 4 Dead. Mm-hmm. I mean, it very much like the gameplay itself looks very Division-esque because it's a third-person shooter. But I'm the same exact way with you. That was one of the things that I paid attention to a lot with Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 is what the game direction was. Like I played with a buddy who was studying game design, and he was like, you see that event that just happened? The game director, he's like, listen, this is one of those games, the first time I played with a commentary on. Because it was interesting to see what his choice was for that specific area. So I can agree with you when they say that right off the bat. It's like, oh, this. It's like that scene from Django Unchained. It's like, now you have my attention, or whatever the hell he says. It looks super fun. Like when I saw that they were making this game, I immediately thought of Overkill's The Walking Dead. I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. Like it doesn't seem like it's going to be good. But this looks super fun.
Yeah, and I mean that was kind of my thought at first. I was just like, okay, this is just. It was just another zombie game, and then just that one word director, and I'm like, wait a second. That like flashback to Left 4 Dead, listening to those commentaries and how they have the game director, and the game director decides, and they talk about it in the trailer. Please go watch it. But they talk about it in the trailer, like if you have too much health and you're doing too good, it will throw more zombies at you. But if you're low on health and you're not doing so good during like one of their last stands, they'll actually throw like a little bit more at you just to kind of even it out or whatever. But then the one thing that every Left 4 Dead clone has been missing. Do you know what I'm talking about, Nate?
This one I don't.
Oh, come on. What is the one thing that we got Vermintide, we got Payday, we got, the Earthfall or whatever, but they could never seem to get that one thing. Come on, I've talked about it several times.
See, I would say Charm, but I know that's not the right answer.
No. It is the 3-act structure.
Oh,
that
yes.
is the one thing that they have never seemed to copy. Vermintide is mission-based. Go on this mission, then go on the next mission. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's not what Left 4 Dead sticks out, because it's every mission, quote unquote, was a movie. It was an hour and a half long movie, depending on how fast you went through it. And you had 3 acts. Each had its own, submission. There was a main mission, which was basically to escape, and each act had its own submission. And that's one thing that they talk about in the trailer. And I was just like,
Nick was just jacking off, if you guys were.
Yeah, that
audio listeners. Yeah, he was just jerking it.
I jizzed in my pants.
Do we want to go down this road again? No? Okay. Pre-show, post-show, guys. You know what I'm talking about.
But I mean, they start talking about that, and there's 3 acts or whatever, and I'm just like, sold, freaking sold, right off the bat, because it's like director, check. A lot of other games have had directors. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest, people. A lot of games claim to have directors. Anyways, but this is the first one that seems to be doing the 3-act structure, and each act having its own thing, and So I'm like, okay, you are saying all the right things, which is funny because Joker trailer just didn't say enough of the right things, because I'm just a normal do nothing fan. I'm not a uber fan of Joker, and so I'm pretty sure to all the other Joker fans out there, they were yelling at me and just thinking to themselves, they said all the right things. You're just a nobody, or you're just a scrub. And I don't want no scrub, because a scrub is a guy who can't get no love to me.
Sitting on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me.
So, but yeah, they're saying all the right things. And this is a game that I would have honestly never considered buying. I would have maybe rented it. I maybe would have, check it out when it comes free on PlayStation Plus. But like now, after this trailer, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Well, see, that's the thing is, yes, all games have directors,
right?
But you don't I can only tell you 2 off the top of my head that I know about the director, and I know what their role is, and that's God of War, and that's Left 4 Dead.
Really? What's God of War do?
But like the main God of War, like the most recent God of War.
Right. What's the game director in that one?
Cory Barlog.
Well,
He's saying
I'm talking about game director as in the game itself. It directs the flow of action. That's
for me, like those are the 2 games in particular that I know who the director is, and I know what his job is. Like I pay it, like for when God of War was coming out, they did a lot of focuses on the direction of the game and like the choices that he made. So, that's what I'm saying is most games, yes, they have directors, but I just play the game. I don't know anything about the production of it. Those are the only 2 games I can think of off the top of my head that I pay attention to what the director's doing and the actual production of the game. Does that make more sense? I didn't say it right at first.
Sense, but that's not what I was talking about when I was talking about game director. I was talking about the actual system in the game. But it's okay. You do your thing, Nate.
Just to go further away from Nick and go more towards Nate, because actually what I was thinking the entire time was something like Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, good point.
That's kind of the one that sticks out to me whenever you take game director and integral to the actual game. That's kind of where my mind goes. So I was kind of right there with you, Nate. Yeah, I was kind of right there with you, Nate.
All right. If there's any listeners who were thinking the same thing, know what I mean is there's an actual in-game system, and that director decides, due to algorithms and stuff like that, it decides in game what's going to happen. It helps.
Okay. So what me and Link were talking about were 2 different things. Yeah. What like with Hideo Kojima, it's like, oh, I see what Hideo Kojima is doing in this spot. What Nick is saying is there is in-game events that the director chooses how it happens. Okay,
right.
We're all clear now.
It's at random. I mean, there's special zombies, which we've had special zombies since Left 4 Dead, but then these ones actually look interesting. Like there's a gas one where if you shoot it anywhere else but the head, it'll spew out gas. And so it'll just keep coming at you until you shoot it in the head. I'm like, okay, that's kind of badass.
And I will point out, I definitely like this charger versus the Quagmire charger.
Yeah.
From Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
Giggity.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Totally surprised by it. Surprised by it. Was not expecting to.
Right. And
really
I feel like this is a game that I have looked at all the trailers and I'm like, oh, cool. They're piling on top of each other to get to you. Oh, cool. You're on a turret and they're, spewing over a bus or something. Well, that was in the movie. Oh, yay, or whatever. But like nothing stuck out as I have to have this game. But then I guess another thing is that kind of like with Vermintide, for instance, Vermintide took Left 4 Dead and then it gave it some RPG functions. And this seems to be doing the same thing where like you'll be trying to do harder and harder stuff, getting harder and harder loot so you can make it hard, like that's cool. Like, because as much as I love Left 4 Dead and it's extremely replayable, you do get to a certain extent where it's like, okay, I've played this, let's say 50 times. And after the 50th time, it's like you're so used to it. It is kind of like watching a movie. You're like, I know what to expect, even though it's not in the exact same spot as last time. I kind of know what to expect or whatever. And so Vermintide kind of mixed that up by having its loot system. And so this seems to be having a similar loot system, but now we get guns and, hordes and hordes of zombies. So it's like, there was so much in this like 2-minute long trailer that just said all the right things that they never said before. I mean, honestly, they should have started with this trailer, because if they would have started with this trailer like years ago, I want to say it's been 2 or 3 years since it was announced technically, which is how old the movie is.
I think like 2015 was the first time I heard about it.
I think so. Yeah. So it's been years. And if they would have started with this, I feel like I would have been on board this whole time. I feel like the only reason I was on board before is because I like zombies, and the thought of having hordes of zombies was, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool, whatever, man. But now I'm like, hell yeah! Ah!
Yeah, it definitely looks like a more Left 4 Dead version of Days Gone, because Days Gone has a very similar mechanic in terms of the zombies like just piling up and you using hordes. Yeah.
Yep. So that's World War Z. I'm excited for it. What are you guys excited for? You guys let us know down in the comments below. TX3 Productions on Twitter or thread3productions@gmail.com. Up next. We're going on to open discussions.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. I feel like the biggest thing that happened this week that actually deserved its own like completely different segment was the Jason Schreier article that came out.
I can agree with that. Okay, for show of hands, did anybody read it here?
Oh, you're such a nerd with your glasses and your beard.
So for context, I read the first half of it, but this is easily like a 5,000 to 8,000 word. 5,000 to 8,000 word article.
Oh my God,
it's gigantic. So I didn't read it. I didn't read it all the way through.
Give them a click just so that you can show your appreciation. Go to Jason Schreier or whatever. I don't know. There's probably 8,000 freaking links to that one article because everybody and their mom had to talk about this, and I wanted to talk about it too. But I kind of wanted, since everybody has been talking about this, I kind of wanted to go at it from a different angle. And that was more AAA game development in general, because what we've gotten from this Anthem controversy is actually there's been a lot of people that messaged Jason Schreier days after he wrote it or even the day of, and basically said, you know what, you put X name into this company's name instead of EA or BioWare, and you have my exact working conditions. And I'm like, oh my God, that's scary, because we already know, like, as hardcore gamers and people who look into stories of gaming, we already know that like games like Destiny was pretty much made in 18 months because they were going a completely different way. And Destiny, funnily enough, had the same thing where there's like whole segments of it missing, just like in Anthem, where you could see old live streams where they had like tons of like cosmetic stuff. And it's like, okay, where's all that cosmetic stuff, guys? And And so like the thought of like AAA game development being this, where like you could not even know what your game is and where it's going until E3. It's absolutely, and I mean that also kind of goes back to what you were saying about Cory Barlog, where he actually had a vision, and when people went to talk to him, like they believed in his vision, and like it's just night and day. And like I would consider Santa Monica AAA.
They are for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would consider them they're definitely not AA, and they're definitely not single A. So it's like they are AAA, but they're doing it right. You know, let's start off with Link. I mean, what was your overall reaction to this? And, you know, more on the big side of like the industry itself.
So, as some of you may know, I got the privilege to go to PAX East this year. And while I was there, it was actually very shocking to see, but there are actually people protesting the announcement of major video games there. So
Wow.
you got to think, you have to pay for a ticket, a hotel room, a flight, food, all this stuff to go up to an event that is half reserved for press, and then you have another 5,000 people running around getting to check out all the games and stuff. And of those 5,000 people, the conservative guess in me would be about 1,000 of them were walking around with signs saying "Don't buy their crap anymore," and
Wow.
that was kind of the popular thing of the weekend. As a matter of fact, when the press conference for Gearbox happened, and I had never been to one of these, so it was kind of a learning experience for me. I was probably somewhere in the back of the auditorium. They started talking a little bit about what was going to happen, what they were going to show. So the crazy part is that a lot of people don't realize when you watch these announcements, the people in the crowd already know it's coming. They don't know the extent of it, and they don't know what it's going to look like. But we knew Borderlands 3 was going to be announced with gameplay, like probably hours before everybody. So that was kind of cool. But afterwards, they come out and they say, "Hey, does anybody have any questions? We're going to do an open mic
like
segment."
Do you guys not have phones?
yeah, for like an hour to 2 hours, right? I didn't stay for the whole thing. But one of the first things they came out and said was, listen, our goal at 2K is to set ourselves aside from different AAA development companies who are just shitting the bed. Those were their exact words. So it's no secret in the industry that some companies are worse to work for than others. And some companies force things that they shouldn't more than others. Whereas you take a company that made one of my favorite games in Borderlands, and they literally waited, I think it was 4 or 5 years from the pre-sequel to now to release 3. That to me is amazing, right? It's amazing that these people are so in touch. Because I should have prefaced, the people who were answering the questions were actual developers and game designers and stuff like that. Nobody whose name you would know, but people who go to work every day, sit at a desk, and actually do the hard work going into the games. And there was probably a panel of 20 of them, and all of them said, "Hey, this is the best company I've ever worked for. I've worked for Rockstar. I've worked for XYZ. I've worked for this. Damn. This is the only company that doesn't give me a hard deadline, that lets me do my creative process, that lets me work and lets me do what I need to do." And that repeatedly came up throughout the Q&A. So it's an obvious issue in the industry. As far as the article, I haven't read it. I've heard about it. I haven't read it. And I'm not sure exactly when it came out in reference to PAX East, but it's obvious that
it came out
Tuesday.
Yeah, came out Tuesday.
So it came out afterwards. So this is something that gets acknowledged by people in the industry on a frequent basis. And so now my goal, to be honest with you, is to go to E3, because I really want to experience that and see what that's like. I really want to understand what other developers think as well, because obviously PAX East had a lot of developers there. The main show I went to, though, was for the Gearbox software presser, because I was excited about Borderlands 3. But I'd be curious to see what other developers think on the matter, or if that even gets brought up at all. So
a question I have for you real fast, because I have to know, was it as cringy to be there as it was to be watching it online? Because like for me, it would be like the difference between like watching football on your TV versus like being in the atmosphere. So how was it being there?
It was crazy. Like that's why I'm so excited about the thought of E3, because my understanding is, based on how that conference went, obviously with E3 they have like set 2 to 3 hour blocks for each developer, right? Where people are in the audience and go do it. But as an actual audience member, you're in that auditorium for probably 6 to 7 hours.
God damn.
So you would pick individually who you want to go see, or at least that's what happened with Gearboxes. Because like I said, we got a little brochure that said everything they were going to go over and when they were going to go over it straight ahead. So we knew that information an hour before they announced anything. So when the Borderlands 3 trailer came on, we knew that was coming. And that's why I almost think it's like kind of like a fuel to audience reaction. Like, hey, you know what's coming next. We're about to show this, freak out kind of thing. And I'm not sure if that's how every developer does it or not. Once again, this was my only one. But it was so awesome.
Jesus.
by the way, I have to tell you, my biggest mistake is not cosplaying, because I felt like I was one of only like 5 people and I stuck out like a sore thumb, because any game, movie, TV show, anything else you could imagine had cosplayers there for it.
Yeah.
Like, they did photography sections with, even one of my favorite games, League of Legends, had like hundreds of thousands of people dressed for League of Legends, and there was no information given on League of Legends at all. So it's little things like that were pretty cool. But no, to answer your question, it is not nearly as cringeworthy as watching an announcement section on Twitch or whatever.
So to go into the whole Jason thing, like, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it, but I think in terms of what we're talking about with AAA game development, the statement in the article that was the most damning, and with any of the statements I'm going to make, a lot of what's in the article, you have to, it's not like a confirmed thing. Like, a lot of his sources are people who were developers, but it's one of those, it's like, it's all behind, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't speak in confirmation of, hey, this actually happened, because it's, it's not confirmed. So a lot of people want to pick you to death about that. But the one statement in the article that was the most damning for this conversation is one of the developers who is a part of the team for Dragon Age Inquisition said that the success of Dragon Age Inquisition is what hurt them the most. They were, leading up to that game, they were in such crunch. They were in such, like, they did that game in such a bad way that most of the team, or a lot of the team, was hoping the game would flop so they could show EA, hey, this isn't the way that we need to make games. But since Inquisition was so successful, that was such a deterrent. That was such a bad move. That was such a bad thing that happened to the developers, because they're like, oh, well, now EA is going to think that this is the way we need to make games, and this is how we're going to continue to make games. Yeah. So when you have a developer saying that a game we worked so hard on, we wanted to fail because we want EA to see that this isn't how we need to make games, and the fact that it succeeded was bad for them, that's not something that's good. Of course, Anthem was a very special case, because the biggest problem that happened with Anthem is the fact of it just had no direction for its life cycle. And and I know that Anthony and PS Best Friends, on their last episode, they talked about this, but one of the things he said was, when we got reports that Casey Hudson was coming back to BioWare, he was like, what's that for? Like, why would he be coming out of retirement? And it's because they needed leadership. They didn't have leadership the entire time that they were making that game. But it is one of those that I think we are on the precipice of something changing in the game, either on the precipice of unions starting to take effect, or of people being like, hey, like, companies, we need to stop doing this. This isn't okay. Another thing that was big in the article is that either throughout the Dragon Age team or throughout the past several years, there's a lot of people at BioWare that were leaving or taking leave for stress leave, for mental health. That's not okay. That's not the way we need to make games at all. Link, you talked about companies. You were talking about, I don't know, different companies. That's why Ubisoft is being touted so much in the past several years, because Ubisoft continues to do things right. They don't have mass layoffs. They do restructures. If they have people who aren't like completing any kind of job, like, hey, we don't need you anymore. Hey, instead of laying you off, we're going to put you in a different team, put you in a different role, so we can still use your talent. And you haven't seen, really, since the whole Vivendi thing, you haven't seen anything bad come out of Ubisoft. And Ubisoft continues to put out these AAA hits, these games that are just continuing to push the bar, and they're doing it in the right way. So I'm not a developer. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it's one of those, as someone viewing in from the outside, it's an easy statement for me to make. Why can't game developers be more like Ubisoft? And I know that's not fair to say, but I think that going forward, we need to really look at Ubisoft and see what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, first off, I have to disagree with one thing you said, and that is that we can't say that everything's confirmed. And it's like, there's
no, I'm being legal jargon here. Like, it was never confirmed.
I know. And that's why I'm being the contrarian.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because I feel like there's tons of things that I feel like most of what was revealed was things that everybody kind of already came up with on their own. Yeah, exactly. They suspected on their own, but now having it outright confirmed, and what I loved about like I hate Jason Schreier. Let's make that very clear. I hate Jason Schreier in almost any other aspect, especially when he's like touting on how we're being like privileged because we don't like microtransactions. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Jason Schreier. However, what Jason Schreier did correctly is he didn't just get one person who is a disgruntled employee and who, wanted to have this vindictive against BioWare or EA. No, this was 19 different people. And I feel like, to anybody who's just like, oh, it's just some rogue employee, it's like, yeah, but 19 rogue employees. I mean, it's kind of like one person accused Bill Cosby and people were just like, oh, it's fine, he's the guy who likes pudding pops, and so, but then you had like 50 people and it's like, okay guys, we need to start taking this a little serious. So it's kind of like, one person would be, but the fact that he went out and he got 19 different people to like collaborate with and be like, okay, let's get the real story here. I feel like that was the best thing he could do, because anybody who tries to discourage him, or anybody's like, oh, but these are just anonymous sources, like, yeah, but these 19 different people saying pretty much the same thing, like, it kind of just credits him even more because he did his due diligence. It'd be so easy for EA to put out an email, because I want to say, who was it? It was Rockstar. It was Rockstar after the whole Red Dead Redemption 100-hour crush. They put out an email saying to people, hey, go on Twitter and speak out against this if you feel like it. But it was like, yeah, if you feel like it. Like,
and let's put this out there too. Like, Jason, like, I get what you're saying. A lot of people don't like Jason Schreier, but one thing that Jason Schreier is like, that we have to give him credit for, is he probably is one of the best journalists in this industry right now, because a lot of people don't like him personally, like for like his opinions, but as far as, he is continuously the one to come out there and give you the news that most people don't want to hear. Yeah. And it's one of those that, which, I listen to a lot of the Kind of Funny guys, and, they came from IGN, and even they say in a lot lighter tones that, IGN isn't what it used to be. I don't look to IGN for journalism anymore. I look to them for tips, facts, opinion pieces. But Jason is continuing to evolve the industry as far as journalism in video games, or journalism period. Like, I mean, it's one of those in the world we live in where fake news, like, Jason never puts out fake news.
Exactly. And so that's what I was trying to, put across, is that, I might hate him, but goddamn, he did a good job. Right. And he usually does. I'm not saying that. But I mean, it's just, there's a lot of damning things. And the fact that you could put like Activision's, like, I could definitely see Activision's going in here. I could definitely see, I guess Activision, EA are the two main ones probably. But yeah, it's like, it really makes me rethink how I look at certain companies. Cause it's like, Insomniac puts out another Spider-Man, or even if they decide to take a break and, do another game, whatever they decide to do, I feel like I can trust them. First off, I'm not going to hear from them for a while, probably. So great. That's fine. Like the fact that they can make enough money to go away for a couple of years, good for you, because that shows me that you're not worried about the dollar amount. You're worried about being sustainable and having a good game. And so, yeah, it just makes me look at some things in the industry way differently, because it's like, we need to edge out these companies. EA, Activision, like they need to go away, even to a certain extent, Take-Two Interactive or whatever, because they're the same people that were having the Rockstar issue, because I feel like the one thing, and I know it's weird because it's also done by EA, but the one thing that stuck out about Apex Legends is that they straight out came out and said, hey, EA had nothing to do with this. And so that, the fact that Apex is one of like the best EA games in years, and EA had nothing to do with it, like that kind of shows you like Respawn doesn't really need them if they had the freedom to just do what they want. Now, obviously, there's plenty of things as far as like leadership, like you were talking about. There's leadership and everything that BioWare didn't have, and so there are plenty of things about BioWare itself that needs to be fixed, and EA is just part of that. But it was kind of like when we were talking about like the microtransactions and stuff for like Call of Duty. I had the big argument. Me and you had a big argument about whether or not who's to blame, whether it's Activision or Treyarch or whatever. I still stand by that it's it's Activision, because it's kind of like the chicken and the egg conversation. Well, would they want microtransactions if they didn't have Activision, breathing down their neck? Would BioWare have fumbled this so hard if they weren't so worried, if they weren't so stressed, obviously, all the time or whatever? Management and leadership has a big part of that. But if that management and leadership is worried about being, let go just as much as the peons, so to speak, then that creates such a huge problem with everything, because like, man, I mean, like the shit rolls downhill, basically, that old saying,
And that's what makes me very excited about Destiny 3 is Destiny 3 is going to come out without Activision backing it. It's going to be a Bungie game. So it really makes me wonder how the success of it is going to be. Is that going to be proof that, hey, Activision had nothing to do with this. This is Bungie and this is working? It's one of those that we'll have to see how that pans out to see if that is going to be an indicator of, oh, hey, of course, EA and Activision aren't going to go away. They're one of the biggest leaders in publishing in the industry. But what they need to do, like you're saying, edging out, we need to like have like an actual conversation with these different publishers, these different developers.
Jesus moment.
Exactly. We do need to come to Jesus moment in this industry to be like, hey, look, this is the way we used to make games in the past. We can't do this anymore. And see, here's the thing, as a consumer, if that means I'm not going to get games as often as we do, I'm fine with that. I care more about
now anyways.
Exactly. I care more about the people who are making this and their livelihood than of course I care about the games, but you also have a large amount of people that don't care about any of that. They don't know any of this is going on. But that's what I think is changing too, is a lot of people are paying more attention to it than they used to. So that I think is what's going to be the catalyst for this change in the industry.
Definitely. I actually heard a pretty good argument the other day about those people that you were referencing who aren't as familiar with the inner workings of a company. One of the big turning points was Black Ops, the recent Black Ops that came out, and not having a campaign. A lot of people looked at that and said, wow, I'm used to my Call of Duties having campaigns because, I'm 37 years old. I'm a father of 3. I don't have time to sit down and play multiplayer for 4 or 5 hours a day. I'd normally just plug it in for the campaign. Well, this sucks. Let me get a refund. And so that was actually kind of a big turning point for a lot of people, because they started to realize, hey, they're going towards one thing and they're not catering to everybody anymore. They're catering to a specific audience who pays them money. And the argument was pretty sound, I thought, because it made a lot of sense. And it was from a gentleman who plays video games pretty regularly, but when it comes to Call of Duty specifically, never plays multiplayer because for one reason or another, he's not very good at it. He doesn't have time, whatever it is. That's not how he has fun. He has fun with the storytelling and the campaign, which obviously was non-existent in the previous Call of Duty. So I think people are starting to wake up to it, to your point. And I think that's good. And the whole coming to Jesus meeting, I think, is happening whether they want it or not, whether we organize it or not. I think it's happening internally. That's kind of what I got from the PAX East conference is developers and designers and creative artists, they're aware of these issues. So whether or not they decide to take it to the man that they need to take it to is their prerogative. But like with 2K, I was so impressed because they knew where they stood. They told people outright, hey, we're not getting it done until this. And that's what happened. And that's why I've already started pre-ordering Borderlands 3 because I have faith in that project. Whereas like a Destiny 3, I'm probably not going to because I don't have faith in it.
Yeah, to be fair, like I'm not planning on pick up Destiny 3 day one. It's really going to depend on what we see from it. If it's going to be more like a Halo, like a Bungie original Halo DNA, like I thought Destiny 1 was going to be, then I'll look into it. But to be clear, my main thing is I'm curious to see if Destiny 3 has a massive success without Activision.
Right. Yeah, I would like to see what is their scope, because I feel like even if it takes a couple more years for them to put something out, great.
Reportedly, it's coming out next year.
Yeah, right. Oh God.
So
I hope not. I really hope not. I hope it comes out in 2021.
Everybody remember when Destiny was supposed to be a 10-year game, and now we're like 6 years into it, and we got 3 games.
Hey, I'm waiting to see. This is totally a non sequitur, but I'm excited about this. Link, you probably are as well. They are LucasArts is coming back into the fold. Like they're finally, Disney's like, hey, look, we're gonna take back our banner, which is really making me wonder if they're going to break the contract with EA, because I really hope they do. They do. They really need.
Like my argument towards Link's part is Call of Duty Black Ops had a lot to do with it, but I also feel like Battlefront had a huge hand in people suddenly giving a crap. Because and I think it might have been a good 1-2 punch. You know what I mean? Maybe the people who didn't really care that much about Star Wars, but they cared about Call of Duty, that it was the final straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. But yeah, I feel like the combination of those two games, Battlefront 2, but Call of Duty right next to each other, and just realizing more and more that they don't care about you, they care about numbers. And that really just was a real eye-opener for so many people. And even me being a super hardcore gamer, that I was like, I just don't know, which is also this is also part of the reason why it's like every time I boot up Apex and it has the EA logo, I'm like, God dang it, that's right, they own this. Like, it's always such like a weird feeling because it's like I'm having so much fun with it, and I'm I don't know, it's just so weird because it's just like I'm not supposed to like this, like, and I don't want to. And some days I'm like, I don't want to like you, you're EA, but then it's like, it's just so well made or whatever. Anyways, so yeah.
I mean, that was pretty open. That was definitely a good open discussion.
Yeah, I mean, and I want more. This will be my closing statement. I want more game developers to just give a crap. Like I want them to give a crap about the game itself, because what some of them don't seem to understand is that without a good game, what the hell is the point of monetizing it? If you don't have a game worth playing, then why are people going to spend money on it? Like, here's a thought, just a thought, make a good game. And then when you start, trying to milk every last drop of it, you might actually get even more, and I guess that's one thing that is a little frustrating about the industry, and this might go more towards the consumers in some ways, but it's like there's always those whales that we have to worry about. If there wasn't let's say there's 1,000 people spending $20 each. If there wasn't that many people doing that, then I don't even feel like this would be a thing. We wouldn't have to worry about microtransactions and everything. But then you go and you look at other games. It's like, where's the microtransactions of God of War? Game of the freaking year, people. Like, it's just, I wish more games would just worry about the game first. They worry about what makes this a good game, what makes this worth playing. Not fiscal years, not the monetary value of it, not how are they going to make it last, till February of the next year. That's what those three main things are, what people are more worried about than are we making a good game. And I just want the entire industry take their head out of their live service ass and actually just worry about making a good game.
My closing statement on your closing statement is I want more developers to be able to speak about this. Yes. I think that there's maybe some, but I think a lot of developers, they do care and they do want to say something, but they feel like they can't, or they're forced to say, hey, we can't talk about this.
That's a good point.
That's what I want.
I mean, Anthem wasn't even allowed to talk about Destiny.
So that part in the article was infuriating.
I triggered him.
That was infuriating because, like, one of the things it talks about is that, and like Nick said, the game we're playing now didn't come to fruition until 18 months before it was supposed to launch. Like the entire 5-year cycle of it was just an absolute mess. But the problem that a lot of the developers had was in that 18 months, they didn't outright say we want a Destiny clone, but they wouldn't but that was the opinion. That was like, oh, this is very similar. But the problem was higher up wouldn't let anybody say anything about Destiny. They wouldn't, if they would ask, oh, is this like Destiny? They're like, nope, it's not like Destiny at all. That's where my problem is with it.
Yeah. I mean, think of how better, like, if I'm making a potato salad, but I'm not allowed to call it a potato salad, and every time I ask for the ingredients, I'm told that it's not a potato salad, and then I make it and it doesn't have any potatoes in it, and then I get in trouble. It's like, well, it's not a potato salad.
I got to be honest. That is a 100% one-for-one good analogy. Like, that fits so perfectly.
We got some really good food analogies. Oh man. So I mean, AAA gaming. Woohoo! Let's go on. Last segment of the day is our picks of the week. All right. Link, my main man Link. What's your pick of the week?
So last time I did a pick of the week, it was revolving around AC Origins and kind of getting back into story-based single-player games. This week, after coming back from PAX East and learning about Borderlands 3, I jumped back into Borderlands 2, which I have played through too many times. But I have thoroughly enjoyed my time back into it. I don't really have too much to say about it. If you know Borderlands 2, you know what I'm talking about, where it's just one of those games that you can replay 3, 4, or 5 different times and not get bored. Even though you have
the different characters, right?
Right. You have the different characters. Right now I'm playing as Zero, which is the ninja stealth attack based character.
Who would you say is your favorite?
Probably Commando, which is the character who has the mobile turret that he can place. But I feel like if you do a run through with him, it's a bit too easy. Whereas I find Zero to be the most challenging. I think the most fun, if for whatever reason you're excited about Borderlands 3 and you haven't played Borderlands 2, go play Psycho. Because for anybody who hasn't done a run through with Psycho, it's all about like getting as low health as you can and even dying and then coming back from your down but not out stage. Yep. So it's quite a fun playthrough to do that way. But yeah, there are so many great stories and voice acting, and I still chuckle at the jokes to this day. So that's kind of been what I've been doing game wise. The other thing I'll add is just a small little TV section where I have continued my march in Game of Thrones. Ugh. I am halfway through season 2.
1 week away, baby. 1 week to the day.
I absolutely hate myself because I like the show. I really enjoy it and I want to keep watching it. And I hate that I'm so disappointed in myself. But honestly, it's well written. It's well acted. It has great, beautiful scenery, which to my understanding is in a variance of different places. But the story obviously for me is still young. I think they're going into, I believe, season 8 coming up soon. Yeah. So I'm only in season 2. So I'm hoping that I can make a push to end and catch up right as it ends, and probably watch the final episode live. That would be my goal with this, but we'll see. So
yeah. So I mean, going back to Borderlands, I want to know, what's your favorite character, Nate?
So when I started Borderlands 2, I started as Zero. I've tried over the years doing I've never finished a playthrough in Borderlands 2. So the who's the
what?
I know, right? Like,
wait, never?
Those words don't make sense to me.
Do you know what happens at the end of the story?
I do not. Hold on, my cat's in the way.
So
basically,
man.
So I'll give you.
Jack turns into a giant dragon, and you have to fight him.
I'll give you the story. I'll give you the story. I'll give you the story behind that.
Care. So he doesn't get a warning.
When Borderlands 1 came out, or it was way after it came out, I had a lot of friends who were like, "Oh my god, I love Borderlands," and it was when Borderlands 2 was coming out, and so I was like, "Yeah, let me try it." And I tried Borderlands 1. And I was like, "This is cool, but I'm bored right now. Like, I'm really bored. It wasn't the game I was looking for at the time." So Borderlands 2 came out, and I enjoyed it, but I'm in a different place gaming now than I was back then. Now, I think I would very much enjoy the looter shooter like simplicity that is Borderlands 2. And I'm gonna start playing Borderlands 2 again. Thank you, Nick. But no, I've never finished a playthrough. But one of the for me, character wise, it's either Zero that I really enjoyed, or I don't remember the name of the Siren character in 2.
Maya.
I really enjoyed her. Actually, when I started playing VR, Borderlands 2 VR, I played as Maya, and I really enjoyed that. But I had played as her before, so I really don't know. It's between those two. I like the psychic nature abilities that Maya has, but I also am just a massive stealth assassin type character in gaming. So it's a toss up between both of those.
Yeah,
I believe everybody's fine right now, so that's.
I think mine would have to be between Axton, because I do like his turret, even though it is kind of the easy mode. But I like Axton, but I think my main one is the girl. Of course, I'm blanking on her name, but the girl with the death claw or the death trap. Yeah, for some reason I can't remember her. It's something like Roxy or something like that. I don't know, but she looks like a punk rock chick or whatever, and she throws out a clap trap, but it's a death trap, and so he starts off with like these kind of like Wolverine claws, and he just goes around. He's wrecking stuff. In fact, like, me and my wife just started a thing where I was a psycho and she was the death trap girl, and I'm like, I can't do this, so I started a new character under Axton, so that I could actually, because like what would happen is, like, I'm trying to, because obviously as a psycho, like, if you kill somebody, it regenerates your health immediately, but I can't kill anybody because her death trap is going around everywhere and killing everybody for me, and I'm like, and so I get out of my psycho rage, and I'm still at like 32 health, and I'm like, well, this is not working for me. And so, but anyways, but I think she's my favorite just because, like, I like kind of like having this partner to go around with you. And then I think later on you can upgrade him so he has like a death ray or something like that. So it's like, he turns in from a melee character to like a long distance character. And it's like, yeah, I like it. Plus, I feel like a lot of her like head masks or whatever are also some of the coolest in the game. So that's my favorite personally. Nate, what are your picks of the week?
So my picks of the week are videos again, because that's what I spend most of my time doing, is just watching YouTube videos. But I discovered a YouTuber. Hold on a second. I discovered a YouTuber, just like was not searching for him at all. His name is the Act Man, and he does a lot of.
What's up?
So no play date.
Oh,
so I'm gonna. Well, it's still pouring.
Oh, is it raining?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So she's gonna go play with the kids, and I'm gonna go do a workout class.
Okay.
So I'll be gone for a little bit.
Oh. There.
It's COD 4 on a week-long cocaine binge.
Sorry.
But I'm gonna do 2 classes, but they're only half an hour each.
Oh, okay.
This video is great.
I'll only be gone for about an hour or so.
Okie dokie. We're almost done with this one right here.
Well, class starts at 11:15.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So
alrighty.
It's only 10:30. So
okay. Well, that sounds great. I love you. Okay, bye.
Hey, I'm going to change my pick of the week to the Act Man. He does Call of Duty videos. If we could go back to my segment real quick.
No, you're good. You're good.
This is funny as shit.
Okay, so it's a YouTuber that I just wasn't looking for, but it was one of those, I went down the rabbit hole of different YouTube videos, and the one I clicked on was called Why Modern Warfare 2 is So Awesome. Basically what it is a 46-minute long video, but it's a video essay. It's a video, I guess, essay, breaking down what makes Modern Warfare 2 so good. And so he goes into multifaceted approaches to the game, the campaign, the multiplayer, the whole, like, whenever No Russian was the thing back in 2009, all of that. And it's very in-depth and it's very entertaining. If you're someone like me who has played like Call of Duties of the past, like grew up with the series, and have certain opinions that relate to his as well, like it's such an enjoyable watch. And from there, he does a lot of different videos that are like this, but he's basically done a whole series on Call of Duty as a whole. And I've already gone down the rabbit hole, watched the Black Ops 2 video, the Black Ops 1 video, Black Ops 3 and 4. And so the next one that I watched was Why Black Ops 3 is So Mediocre and Awesome, is the title of it. And he breaks down my exact thoughts on Black Ops 3. The multiplayer, it's fun, but the campaign is absolute trash. The campaign is so bad and is so it's like Anthem. It's like an EA game. It's very much all over the place. But it's these like 30 to 45-minute videos that break down the history of this game, like why everyone thinks it's so good, why he thinks it's good, and like I said, if you love Call of Duty, it's such a fascinating watch to just sit down and experience. It's easily something that I am enjoying way more than I thought I would.
Fun fact, I tried to get the Act Man on our show. We were all but confirmed, and then for some reason he just stopped contacting me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We were all but confirmed. I mean, it was pretty much just like, okay, what day and time? And then just nothing from him.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I really liked him too. I can't remember what got me onto him, but it was one of his videos. It was, he put so much out, obviously.
Watch the Black Ops 1 video, because the way he intros it is so funny. He does like a little sketch, like joking on the numbers, and it's hilarious. It's definitely hilarious.
Yeah, I like him.
We'll have to see if we can follow up with that, because I would like to do that.
I would love to. Like, okay, we're gonna go on a tangent now. The problem is with some like bigger YouTube stars or whatever is like, and I mean, I don't necessarily mean this is a negative, but it's also hard not to say it as a negative. But a big problem with a lot of the bigger YouTube channels is that they don't care. No, they don't care. They have time, dude. I'm sorry. Like, oh, I can't because I stream from 4 to 8. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna go down that fucking rabbit hole because streaming. but yeah, it can be hard getting some YouTubers on because it's like, oh, I don't have the time or whatever. It's like, we're willing to do it whenever you are. So it's like, it's more just like they don't want to put their name next to a smaller creator, which I don't know, if we ever get to the point where we're big, it's like, I'd like to, as long as I go to that person's channel and they aren't just absolute garbage. Like they go on their mic and it's like, You know, like as long as it's not absolute trash, or it's like, hey, I like Nazis, and so let's salute Nazis and stuff. As long as it's not like bullshit like that, then like I'm totally willing to go on somebody's show. You know, now I'm gonna have like a concave of people asking me to go on, and then I'm gonna have to tell them I don't have time.
I know TX3 does not support Nazis.
but my point is that like, you know, like I don't know, it's just it's hard to get bigger people on. Like there's this nice threshold, I feel like as soon as they hit like over 100,000 or something, it's like I don't know, it's super hard to get them on. Like when we got freaking Drifter on here, I was so thankful, and like I kept saying it over and over, like thank you so much, like because it was just so hard to get anybody to even take us serious, you know. And I mean, I feel like that's one thing, and I don't know if it's true, but I feel like that's one thing that like a lot of bigger YouTubers might have a hard time remembering, is what is it like being so small and trying to reach out to other people, because like sometimes that's what gets you, is just collaborating with like the right person, you know. And for our count, that's Link, you know, collaborating with him. All of a sudden, we start getting a lot more people on our Discord and stuff. Or, I mean, Apex, is, if we're being super honest, because without Apex, we wouldn't have gotten Link. So, but anyways, I don't know. That was just a little fun fact I wanted to throw in there, and it kind of turned into a tangent. My picks of the week, I guess I just have the one. Other than Santa Clarita Diet, which talked about that with my wife on the last one, still need to watch that. My pick of the week is actually like Conan Exiles. I've been playing that, and it's really good. It's rough for sure. Like it's not going to win any awards for best graphics or anything. And honestly, this might just be a good way to kill some time. You know, it might be one of those, you talk about it all the time, Nate, might be one of those like podcast kind of games where it's like, you know, it's a lot of mindless, let me cut down this tree, let me, you know, get this rock and harvest or whatever, but it's good. And I mean, it functions. I know that sounds like a blooming recommendation, but it's free to play for the PlayStation Plus. And it's like, you know, I played a lot of 7 Days to Die. And one of the things that was so frustrating about that game is just how badly implemented it was onto the PlayStation 4. Like I was playing with this one, or I wasn't playing, but I was doing a live stream and one of my buddies was on it and he played the PC version. I feel like neither one of you are paying attention to me.
I am. I'm listening to you.
So
you're just like staring down at your phone, you jackass. Anyways, but he plays 7 Days to Die on the PC. And so like we're live streaming it and there's zombies coming after, we're shooting arrows at it, and like he just straight up says, why aren't you going for headshots? I'm like, dude, you cannot go for headshots in this game, not on the PlayStation 4. He's like, oh yeah, that's right, you're playing on the PlayStation 4. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I know.
For me, Conan Exiles is sort of like a Ark Survival Evolved without dinosaurs. That's kind of what it really reminded me of, because I played a decent amount of Ark, and then I remember getting Conan, and I thought it was nearly the same game with different items in your inventory and obviously no dinosaurs. But to me, it was welcome. I thought it was a pretty good game. It gave me a pretty decent playthrough. I think I put 40 to 50 hours into it. Yeah. It's one of those games like Ark that doesn't really have necessarily a purpose as much as just go out and have fun.
That's my only negative, but I do like the mechanics. Like the combat mechanics are actually kind of cool, because like I'm a big Souls player. I like all the Dark Souls. I like Bloodborne. I haven't gotten a chance to play Sekiro, but like I like those games, and its combat can kind of be compared to that, because you can actually like lock on to a character, and then, you know, you're dodging around and you're waiting for the moment to hit them. And if they, you know, so it's sort of like that, like in a very rudimentary way, obviously. But the only negative I would say is that there doesn't seem to be a direction. I wish a game And I mean, I think Sekiro might be it, honestly, if I'm being honest. But I do wish like these games, I like their open-endedness, but also at the same time, I would like just something pulling me along that I don't have to find on a notepad off in the distance or something. Like I like being pulled through a story, you know.
That's fair.
I thought my wife was saying something. But other than that, as far as like a survival, like the only thing I have, because I haven't played Ark, especially on the PlayStation, but I've played 7 Days to Die. I played Portal Knight is another one, but that one's like super cartoony, so I don't even know if I can technically count that. But anyway, 7 Days to Die is the only one I really have to compare it to. So compared to that, I way prefer this one. I mean, the only negative other than its open-endedness is I guess maybe I do wish there were zombies, because like that's the one thing I do like about the 7 Days to Die. The premise is basically every 7 days is like a blood moon, and so when the blood moon comes, you have to like that night will be like a huge horde of zombies, and so basically you spend like this first 6 days getting like a decent house set up so that you don't die, basically. And so then each 7 days is more and more zombies, and harder and harder. And so I really like the premise of it, but it just sucks how badly it's implemented on the PlayStation. So to have that similar setup, only without the 7-day blood moon thingy, but to have the similar setup, but now it seems to actually be working. There's definitely like they definitely need like a freaking tutorial, because I feel like even just doing some really basic stuff, like I had to like really discover it on my own. And I don't, on the one hand I like it, but I don't like it. It's very confusing. It basically made a very frustrating first hour of the gameplay, because it's just like I don't know, it's confusing. It's hard to explain, but at the same time it is still my pick of the week, because hey, it's free, so why the hell not? Plug. So that's going to be the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to go to TX3 Productions on Twitter, or threatx3productions@gmail.com. If you guys like the more movie side of things, make sure and check out our Movie Fix. Movie Fix is where we just talk about movies and Blockbuster and reviews and everything. So if you like just the movie side of things, you can go check that out. All right. Thank you, Nate, for joining us.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Link.
It has been an honor gracing you with my presence.
Of course, as always. And thank you guys for joining us for this Nerd to the Third, where you can always talk nerdy to me.
Boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, ba, boom. I
think I would have preferred the other one. All right, stop recording. I don't know why that. Okay, I don't want to do Hubcast. God damn it, I don't want to.
I was gonna say we could totally do it tomorrow. I'd be cool with that.
I don't know, when could we do it though?
I can do it tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow night? But when? Like, you work super late all the time, dude.
Well, hopefully I'll only have one job tomorrow.
You said that on Friday.
Hush your mouth.
I'm off tomorrow, for the record.
Well, no, like I would like to. Like, honestly, what I want to do now is I want to play. Like, I want to like let go and play or whatever. We haven't like had a real good gaming session in a really long time, and it's really good for not only just like team morale, but like my personal morale, because it's like I don't get to play with friends a lot. So it's like, honestly, I'd much rather do that than like have to like do another podcast. This is like
we do the recording as a wave, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to do the normal thing.
And for all you Patreon guys here for the post show, it's like, I think the big thing for me is that since this is just something I do, and it's not something that I'm necessarily getting paid for, even though I am getting paid by you guys, thank you. But it's like, it's not my job yet. Like, once it's my job, it's like, I'm going to wake up every morning and I'm going to be like ready and willing to do this. But like right now, it's just like a chore. It's a chore that I enjoy doing, obviously, but it's just a chore nonetheless. And so it's just like, I can't wait to get to that point. 'Cause it's like, you know, even just with our radio, I'm definitely going to be working 8 hours a day. You going to go play with the kids? What's his name? His name's Link.
Hi.
Love you. Hey, do I get a kiss? Yeah, you forgot, silly. Come here. Okay, hold on.
Hi.
Hey, Zoe.
That's Nate. You remember Nate, right? With the beard.
That's your buddy.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
Why is this changing?
Why is it changing?
Yeah.
Well, because if he makes noise, it changes to him. And then if Link makes noise, it'll go to him.
Your buddy.
Yeah.
Make a noise.
Make a noise.
I'm making a noise.
Noise.
See?
Noise.
Changes to him. You're silly, baby.
No.
Give me a kiss.
Yeah.
Give me a kiss.
No.
You gotta give me a kiss goodbye.
No.
But you're gonna go play with the kids.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can't tell who she looks like more, Nick.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Have
like
you seen a picture of my wife?
yeah, you've posted,
Okay.
you've tweeted pictures of her, and then she's
Okay,
on
that's
Facebook,
right.
so.
That's right.
Real quick, if I can say something for the
No.
post show.
Oh, show. Go ahead.
So to those of you who are listening, the potential of you three, I really, really want to say thank you. I haven't really gotten a chance to do that too much.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not even the money that I want to thank you for. You know, money is money, and it is what it is. But honestly, the overall community effort that all three of you put in on a daily basis, not just like every now and then checking in and being like, hey, I'm a Patreon, I'm cool or whatever. You guys are always the first to welcome new people. You're always the first to answer questions. God only knows between work schedules. Nick, Nate, and I aren't always available. Same with T-Folds and Coach. And you guys have honestly like done our jobs, if I may, for probably 50 to 70% of the time. And that's just awesome. It's so good to see a community in which you're not only just wanting to throw money at it and walk away, you're genuinely wanting to see it grow, which is what I see. Like we were at 98 people. And literally all three of you were posting, hey, can we get to 100? We want to get to 100. Let's get to 100. And now we're at 102, right? And we're going to be pushing towards 200, obviously. And yeah, so just thank you. It really is warming to see not just a community about money, but a community about wanting to genuinely be a community. So.
And I also want to say too that like because the Discord has gotten so big, I'm not as active in it anymore just because I get, you know, obviously sensory overload. But like for example, you know, you guys talking in the patron feed about you know, the shows and stuff like that, and then me responding like a week later, like I apologize for that. But to thank you guys, especially for the last comment you made, I'm gonna give you guys a little something. This is for you guys.
Oh, what is he doing?
Oh.
What's going on?
I don't know. Oh, is this it?
You guys like looking into my eyes, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
Wow. You know, for some reason, it's like a train wreck. I can't stop looking.
Actually, I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a bonus too.
Is the shirt coming off?
No, the shirt's not coming off.
Oh,
shirt's not coming off. Not. Hey, maybe for another tier.
$15.
So
this is the post show.
Treat that my closest friends know. So you guys don't see my mouth. Probably this is going to be a little bit weird, but I have a thing that my wife likes to call the tooth.
Oh God.
You ready for it?
No.
Where is it located? I feel like we should ask that first.
I'm gonna show you. All right, hold on.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you gotta hold on.
Yo, that's cool. Wait,
I can't see it.
It's
on link right now.
It's clicked.
Well,
I'm
if you
clicked
click
on
his
me.
picture on the bottom, it shows him permanently.
Because I'm clicked on me, so they can see me right now.
Okay, do the tooth again. Oh my God, bro, that's cool as shit. How do you?
So
is it like actually separated?
So look, so I have an overlapping tooth. Right
gotcha.
here. And so like I used to do this to make my wife laugh. Now she's just used to it. But if I go like this, it looks like it's popped over. Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Because you kind of do the late night editions. Can you ever notice like my Tourette's in the background?
No.
Or is it okay? Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I hardly ever notice it.
A tooth thing is cool though.
Yeah, it's a nice little parlor trick. I've thought about in the past, like, should I get braces? Because I do have some, like, my teeth are like pretty good other than that. But
honestly, looking at it, like without knowing that, I would have never.
Yeah, so like this is why
super obvious.
This is why I have to take like pictures and stuff from a certain angle. Because look, if you it's fine. But if I go like this, you can see it. So, but like if I send you a Snapchat, if like here, like actually I'll send you a picture. If I send you a Snapchat like this, like it, you can notice it.
I'm just excited for this picture.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
You guys don't know how long I've been begging for one.
Dick pics, another Patreon tier.
No, we should make dick pics a lower Patreon tier. So if you're not high enough, you get dick pics.
Yo, that's a good point. That's a good to avoid getting dick pics. Got to sub to the higher tier. That's a good fucking.
You don't want to see this? Pay more money. Oh god. Okay, I kind of see what you're talking about. Wow, you have an iPhone. I can tell.
Yeah,
that camera's hot.
HDR.
Yeah. Isn't that hot? I like that. I'm right there with you. All right, Nate. Background check. What's on your phone background?
Okay. So currently, it's a picture of me and my wife from our engagement shoot where we're both holding lightsabers.
That's freaking dope.
That's my lock screen, and then my wallpaper is Division 2.
Okay, so I need a new inside wallpaper because if I don't know if I can clear this off. Hold on. For some reason, it still shows like Spotify playing, but I've got my wife on the front for some reason.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see the spot.
Yeah.
You can click on that. Go to, well, like obviously press pause. Your wife's probably listening to music, but press pause, and then
there it is. All right,
you can clear out the app.
Yeah. So I have my wife, but then on the inside, I don't know why, but I just went with like a basic, like blue. It's just blue, and I feel like I need something like good. But I'm really particular about like home screen wallpapers because I feel like it can take away from the home screen or make shit hard to see.
Oh, I am too, 100%. I'm the
so
same way.
Like I haven't found a good one yet, so I'm looking for it. My wife made me a birthday cake, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. She does cakes on the side, like as kind of like a part-time job for her. And oh, it's cool. It has like a bunch of different colors. Hold on, I'm gonna share this with you. This is actually pretty dope looking.
Where are you sending it to?
Can I put it in the Hangouts straight?
Yeah, you can just put it in the chat.
I guess I can just drag and drop it from my files. Probably be easier.
Probably, yeah.
That's not working too well. I'll just send it on Discord real quick. Okay. But anyway, so she does all these cakes for a living. And she's super talented. So I always get interested to see what she'll make me, basically. Oh, that's the wrong one. That was the one she made for my nephew. Here you go. I love the colors on this for some reason. Why can I not send this to you?
Paw Patrol.
Yeah. She's made killer cakes for his parties and stuff. Here we go. This is the one she made me with all the different colors.
Okay.
Yeah,
like that spectrum feel to it.
Yeah, it looks sick, man. She, to be honest, she normally doesn't make me cakes because she gets sick of it because she makes it for everybody else. But these are a couple of them. I'm gonna overload you here for a second. But she's really good with like designing cupcakes in ways. So like she does stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, so she made me this cake and it's like I'll have to post it in the Patreon Discord for those of you listening, but it's like orange, almost like a retro kind of spin between orange, green, and red. It looks sick. I like that. Oh.
I guess Nick's taking care of Zoe Ann.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to be the post show, guys. Enjoy. Will. See you next time.